All right, here we go. We have San Francisco street legend Boobie, founder of Big Block. Welcome to VladTV.
Oh man, pleasure, man. It's an honor, man. Pleasure to be here, man.
Oh yeah, someone who grew up in the Bay, Big Block was a name you always heard.
Yeah,
So it's interesting we're finally getting to sit down and talk.
that's what's up.
So this is our first time talking together. So let's go ahead and start at the beginning. So you grew up in Hunters Point.
Yep.
And what was Hunters Point like in the 70s and 80s?
Well, in the 70s or 80s, it was just it was cool, man. It was fun. It was a lot of unity, a lot of love. You know what I'm saying? I grew up there ever since '71. I was born in that house I was in. So it was just it was a lot of family oriented. A lot of love, and it's just it was just a fun place to be. You know what I'm saying? We all just grew up together. My uncles and aunties, my mother, my grandmother, everybody stayed up there on 19 Harbor Road. So it was good, man. It was good.
And growing up in the Bay, Hunters Point was always this kind of infamous area.
Yeah.
Like people would say Hunters Point, and there'd be fear associated with that neighborhood. And I was across the water in the Bay. I grew up in San Mateo, and then later on in Oakland and Berkeley. But Hunters Point in San Francisco was always one of these really infamous areas that everyone always talked about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why do you think Hunters Point had that reputation back then?
Because if you weren't from there, you shouldn't go there. And it's like, I done seen a lot happen. Like, as growing up as a kid, you see a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was notorious, but if you was from there, you had a lot of love. You know what I'm saying? So just growing up in it, you have a lot of love. But I done seen a lot of things, and been around a lot of things, and it was notorious in its own way. But if you didn't know nobody, you had no business being around there.
Okay, and the Hunters Point area, it was housing projects?
Yes, projects. It was all HUD projects.
Okay, and are they spread out, or is it kind of more buildings?
It's a hill. It's just a whole hill. You know what I'm saying? Like up there where we at on Harbor Road, Northridge, Kiska and all that, that whole stuff used to be all projects back when I was growing up. Then they tore most of it down, but the house I grew up in is still right there. The part of the project is still right there. So a lot of it remains the same. And then you have projects all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just, it used to be a big old hill with nothing but projects. It used to be old Army barracks. It used to be old Army barracks, and they turned them into low-income housing.
Got it. And it's right there over by Candlestick Park, which used to be the
No, it ain't by Candlestick Park. Candlestick Park, that's Deborah Rock. Deborah Rock is right there next to Candlestick. You got to come up that hill, and you got to come all the way up in there, and that's where we at, up that hill.
Okay, it's the same general area, but
yeah, same general area though. Yeah, same general area.
Got it. And when you hear of San Francisco, you hear of Hunters Point and you hear of Sunnydale Projects.
Mm-hmm.
And was there like a beef between these two neighborhoods?
Back in the days, back in the Gap, you know what I'm saying? It was a beef, and I really don't know what was the kind of cause of it, but Hunters Point was all together at one point in time, and then somehow they got into it, with Sunnydale, and it was just a real serious situation. It was a real serious. I was kind of young, but I was still old enough to be a casualty. But my mother stayed over there. My mother stayed at 12 Brookdale, so I always had a report, and I kind of went to elementary school in Sunnydale too. So, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. You know what I'm saying? It was real too. People died. It was real. You know what I'm saying?